When that alarm goes off at 5:00 a.m., it's not just another start to the day, it's the first battle, and most people lose it before they even get out of bed. The truth is, no one feels like waking up early. Not me, not you, not even the billionaires you see online, but that's exactly the point. The morning is a war between the version of you that wants comfort and the version that's hungry for greatness. And every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're declaring to the world, I'm in control. You see, billionaires aren't made in boardrooms or on Zoom calls, they're built in those quiet, unseen hours before the sun rises. When the rest of the world is still sleeping, you're sharpening your mind, your focus, your purpose. The first 90 minutes after you wake up are sacred. That's when you train yourself to think like a winner, to feel unstoppable, to move with intention. You don't scroll, you don't text, you don't consume, you create. You pour your energy into becoming sharper mentally, physically, spiritually. The first move, get uncomfortable, hit that cold shower. It's not about the water, it's about reminding yourself that comfort is the enemy. Then move your body. Lift, run, stretch, breathe, whatever makes you feel alive. This isn't about building muscles, it's about building momentum. Because momentum is what carries you through the chaos later in the day. Then you journal, not for Instagram, not for motivation, for clarity. Write down your thoughts, your fears, your goals. Get brutally honest with yourself. What needs to die today for the next version of you to live? What habits are holding you back? That's how billionaires think, through reflection, not reaction. And before you touch your phone, you read. Feed your mind something powerful. 10 pages of a great book can do more for your mindset than hours of empty scrolling. You start the day by consuming wisdom, not noise. By the time the city wakes up, you've already won. You're operating on a higher frequency. You're calm, confident, clear. While everyone else is rushing out the door, you've already set your tone. That's the difference between living reactively and leading intentionally. The morning is war, and those who win it win the day, the week, the year, and eventually, the world. When you step out into the streets of New York City, you can feel the pulse of the world, the energy, the ambition, the noise. It's intoxicating. But beneath that energy lies a truth that most people don't want to face. In this city, you either build or you get built by someone else's vision. There's no middle ground. Every skyscraper, every office, every deal being made is proof of that. Someone had the courage to dream bigger, to execute harder, and to stay consistent long after others quit. By 8 a.m., the game has already started. The world is awake, and you have a choice to be a player or a pawn. The player owns the game. The pawn follows orders. Billionaires aren't born with special talents. They're forged through relentless action. While most people are still drinking their second cup of coffee, scrolling through social media, or complaining about traffic, the future billionaire has already locked in. Their mind is focused, their calendar is structured, and their energy is directed towards something that actually moves the needle forward. Every task, every email, every conversation, it all matters. You're not just working, you're building a system, building leverage, building something that will outlive you. The average person sees work as a to-do list. The builder sees it as a foundation. The difference lies in perspective. Most people chase the illusion of being busy. They fill their day with noise, reacting to everything and producing nothing. Builders, on the other hand, operate with precision. They ask, what's the one thing I can do today that will make everything else easier or irrelevant? That's the mindset of someone destined for billions. It's not about working harder, it's about working ruthlessly smarter. It's about saying no more than you say yes. It's about cutting out anything that doesn't align with your long-term mission. Every billionaire you've ever admired mastered this. They stopped trying to do 100 different things well. They focused on one thing, one skill, one product, one vision, and did it so well the world couldn't ignore them. In Nick, you can see the contrast everywhere. One person walks fast, eyes locked on their destination, completely zoned in. Another scrolls on their phone, bumping into people, lost in distraction. Both are alive in the same city, breathing the same air, but only one is truly living. The other is drifting. Building your dream means making sacrifices most people aren't willing to make. It means working when you're exhausted. It means saying no to parties, to comfort, to validation. It means showing up every single day, even when you don't see immediate results. Because the truth is, 99% of what you do won't pay off right away. But that 1%, that one decision, that one deal, that one connection can change everything. The problem is, most people quit before they ever reach that point. A future billionaire in NYC doesn't measure success by money in the bank, he measures it by momentum. Every small win, a finished project, a closed client, a skill mastered is fuel. And with each win, the gap widens between him and the average person. He's not chasing pleasure, he's chasing power. The kind of power that comes from control over your mind, your time, your environment. The real work is mental. You can't build an empire with a weak mindset. Every rejection, every failure, every setback, it's part of the process. Most people take it personally. Builders take it as feedback. They adapt, they evolve, they don't dwell on emotions, they analyze outcomes. If something doesn't work, they don't complain, they fix it. That's the secret: emotional control, the ability to stay calm when everything around you is chaos. NYC is a jungle, and the predators always win, not because they're cruel, but because they're focused. They move with purpose, they build when others sleep, they think long-term when others chase quick dopamine hits. You either become one of them, or you work for one of them. It's that simple. When you're truly building, the world starts to shift. You start attracting different people, doers, thinkers, creators. Your conversations change, your priorities change. You stop trying to fit in because you realize you were never meant to. You weren't born to be part of someone else's system, you were meant to create your own. And that's what separates the future billionaire from the rest. He's not trying to impress, he's trying to impact. He doesn't need recognition, he needs results. Every day in NYC is a test of focus, resilience, and hunger. You either use the city's chaos to fuel your vision, or you get lost in it. So when you wake up tomorrow and walk those same streets, remember this: everything you see, from the skyscrapers to the brands to the billboards, was once just an idea in someone's head. The only difference between them and you is that they built, they acted, they refused to stay average. You can do the same, but first, you have to decide which side you're on, the builders or the built. When the noise of New York City fades and the lights start to dim, that's when the real work begins. The daytime is for performing, for meetings, calls, deals, strategy. But the night, the solitude, is where billionaires are made. Because when the world goes quiet, your thoughts get loud, and in that silence, you either face yourself or run from yourself. Most people run. They can't stand being alone, because being alone means confronting the truth, the laziness, the fear, the doubt, the missed opportunities. But those who seek greatness, they crave solitude. They understand that power doesn't come from noise or attention, it comes from stillness, clarity, and deep self-awareness. When you're alone, there's no one to impress. No audience, no validation, just you and the mirror, and that's where transformation happens. Solitude strips away the fake confidence, the masks, the noise of the outside world. It forces you to deal with who you really are. That's why most people can't handle it. They need distractions to feel alive. They need constant entertainment to escape the emptiness they feel inside. But future billionaires, they turn that emptiness into focus. They channel it, they use it as fuel. In the quiet, you think differently. You start asking the right questions, not what do I want, but who am I becoming? Not how do I make more money, but what am I willing to sacrifice to create lasting impact? Those are the questions that shape billion-dollar empires, because money follows clarity, and clarity comes from solitude. You can't hear your inner voice when the world is screaming at you. You need distance from the noise, the news, the social media, the opinions to reconnect with your purpose. Every great builder, every great thinker, every leader who changed the world spent time in isolation. It's where visions are born, it's where plans are refined, it's where conviction is built. You can't copy-paste your purpose from someone else's highlight reel. You find it in silence when no one's watching, when you're brutally honest with yourself about what you really want and what you're willing to endure to get there. When you spend enough time alone, you start to realize how much energy you've been wasting trying to impress people who don't even care. You stop seeking approval. You stop explaining yourself. You start moving in silence, letting your results speak louder than your words. That's what power looks like: quiet confidence, not loud ego. The future billionaire isn't in the club flashing cash. He's in his apartment, reviewing his journal, refining his systems, planning his next move. The world might call it boring, but he knows it's how legacies are built. Solitude also builds emotional control. When you're alone, you can't blame anyone else for your emotions. You learn to master your state, your focus, your energy, your reactions. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You realize you can't control the world, but you can always control yourself. That's what makes a person unstoppable. And here's the paradox: the more time you spend in solitude, the stronger your presence becomes in the world. When you walk into a room, people can feel it, because solitude gives you substance, it gives you depth. You no longer chase opportunities, they start finding you, because power attracts, clarity attracts. While the rest of the city sleeps, the future billionaire is wide awake, not because he has to be, but because he wants to be. He's designing, reflecting, strategizing. He's not chasing dopamine, he's chasing destiny. And when the sun rises, he doesn't just start another day, he continues the mission he built in the dark. That's what solitude gives you: control, clarity, and conviction. It's not loneliness, it's alignment. It's how you become the kind of person the world can't ignore. Because when you master being alone, you no longer fear anything, not rejection, not failure, not the opinions of others. You realize that true power doesn't come from crowds cheering your name. It comes from silence, from the moments when it's just you, your vision, and your will to keep building until that vision becomes reality.